Okay, so I want to open it up real quick. So, as we know, Joe Biden, he has recognized transgender awareness, and we found out like this has actually been going on since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happened that this falls on Easter Sunday slash Resurrection Sunday. Um, so it's very interesting. So I just wanted to kind of react to these clips from The View. And we have 3 clips, but we'll just play one, and just react and just kind of keep it going. So let's start with the first clip.
Apparently, March 31st, I don't know whether y'all are aware of this, has been designated as a Transgender Day of Visibility since 2009. This year, it happened to coincide with Easter Sunday. So cue the pearl clutching from the conservative media.
This is a clear effort and a coordinated effort to remove God from our society and to replace God with false gods. And in this instance, it's the trans community. They clearly want us to bow at the altar of the trans community instead of bow to God.
If you have a whole calendar, 365 days of the year, and the transgender community purposely chooses the day of Jesus' death or his resurrection, whatever Easter weekend, that seems like a shot, a purposeful shot.
If you're going to commemorate godlessness, at least have some respect for Christians and wait to do so another day. The left already celebrates godlessness 24/7 anyway, so an internationally designated day, week, or month is frankly redundant.
The fact that you're saying this to the most Catholic president we've had in years
since Kennedy
is extraordinary.
All right, it's very interesting. what are y'all's thoughts?
Um,
Oh, I'm gonna let you take that.
the fact that they said this has been the same day since 2009, the only day that changed is Easter, because Easter is usually in April, right?
Mhm.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So therefore, I mean, I ain't saying I agree with it, but at the same day, I mean, he just acknowledged that day. First of all, election coming up. So I mean, I ain't big on politics like that, but election coming up, so he's just trying to make sure he get his votes. At the end of the day, he not gonna not recognize it just cause it's on. I mean, Easter, it ain't gonna be on that day the next year. Watch, cause this is leap year
Mm-hmm.
if we pay attention. But it just was funny to me.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't seem like they was trying to pick a Christian day.
No, but I don't
Yeah.
think that was.
That ain't what it felt like to me.
No, they literally said since 2009. What is this? 2024. It's
Yeah.
the same day.
We gotta stop that outrage.
Yeah.
We gotta stop that outrage.
Yeah, they were really outraged
Why
by
are we
that.
outraged by this? Like, we
But
gotta stop that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it
What
ain't.
should?
That's like somebody saying. That's like us saying, okay, your birthday fall on the same day every year, right? Let's just say,
If it fall on Jesus' birthday, I am not celebrating.
you know what I'm saying. But let's
December
just say,
25th. What?
let's just say you
I'm just
just
playing.
change it, and now all of a sudden, let's just say your day, and something else happens on your day. What? 9/11 happened, and that was a big thing, right? And that was a lot of people's birthdays.
Yeah.
So now that everybody made, oh, he purposely crashed that plane on my birthday. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's almost like they saying.
Oh, okay, I got
You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's a day that's already set. Like you can't change that. The only thing, I mean, it's a leap year. It's a leap year.
Yeah.
It won't be on that day next year.
What you think, brother?
For me, I actually really agree to that point. I think that was really well said. The outrage. Well, it's like it's hard to really listen to the news because that's the whole point of the news is to create an outrage, to create something to where you're supposed to feel a certain way, you're supposed to invoke this feeling, you're supposed to be angry because that's what the emotion that sells the most, or fear. So I just think that they kind of just purposely do that because like do the actual news anchor or the people that get outraged, like I would question how you live your daily lives. Like, are you actually truly living a gospel life, or are you just like trying to get views and grab attention, virtue signal, just so you can like get likes within your own community and not like, be fruitful about it. So that's kind of like how I view it. And the whole, Biden is the most Catholic, like, bit. I'm just like, look, just because you say you're something, that doesn't mean you fully represent. I can say I'm part of the NBA. Does that make me a part of the NBA though? Like, no, it's just because I claim something doesn't mean I stand true to what it says. Because if he is a Catholic, then he's not a good one. He's kind of messing up there because he's not standing up for what his beliefs should be. You know.
Yeah, I definitely believe there's a lot of pandering going on. I mean, it's definitely politics. He's trying to make sure that he gets those votes. I would be surprised if that, I mean, how much that actually helps him, because I just feel like the LGBT community is just like so much smaller than, okay, so you got Biden pandering to the LGBT community, and then you got Trump pandering to Christians. I mean, he just made his own Bible.
Wild.
I don't know exactly the details of
wild,
it,
bro.
like if it's just published by Trump or what. I don't know. Maybe it's the King James. Who knows?
It is.
I'm
It's
not-
it's
is it?
King James, but it also has like the Constitution of America. So it's basically a patriotic Bible, which is like, I don't agree with that because it's like, you don't need patriotism. You need just Jesus.
Oh, and that's scary. And it's like, yes, people are outraged at, Biden. I just could care less about Biden, and more so like, as Christians, we just are supposed to be focused on Jesus. But it's like, the world is going to do what the world does. I'm just like, I'm not surprised like that he's bringing awareness to it. I think he did the same thing last year and the day before that. I mean, he's the guy that signed the bill or executive order that allowed, trans people to be able to do things like, I don't know if it was going into the same restrooms or just what it could cause. He signed these executive or something like, I don't even know how much it is Joe Biden is actually doing, and it's actually like his team. Like, so it's like, I just don't really pay too much attention to like, what are they actually doing to the resurrection day of Jesus Christ? Like, they have already shown what they think and who they are. So this is just like, okay, it's not a surprise. Now, originally when I first saw it, I'm thinking they were targeting Christians because they said, hey, this day, we're going to make this a day. It's like, I had no, see, when it falls
was
on
the framing.
Resurrection
Yeah.
Sunday, we notice it now.
Yeah.
We didn't notice it before because it was like, eh.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep
Didn't
doing the
notice it
same
at all.
thing.
Yeah.
But let's go to the second clip and then
President Biden, we handed them this baloney that they're on with Fox and everywhere else. He handed it to them because he's a good person, that's why. Because he wants to show that he supports a group of people that is under attack in this country. And if Trump gets in, they will be even more under attack. So that's what's happening.
Can I say something about this?
Sure.
I am so angry about this because they are misrepresenting the message of Jesus. They are misrepresenting Catholicism, Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, the trans community is 1.6% of our community. And if you know anything about Jesus, you know that he welcomed lepers. He welcomed prostitutes. He welcomed the least desirables among us in the society at that time. I was in church on Easter Sunday, and our entire homily at St. Charles Borromeo here in Harlem was about Jesus and about how he got up because of us and for us, and he gave his life for us.
Yeah.
And so for them to be so hypocritical in the name of Jesus is blasphemy.
And by
you
the
ought to
way,
be ashamed of yourself.
wait a minute.
all right. So what are your thoughts on that? It's starting to get a little more intense.
She get mad. She get mad for Jesus. I like
Look,
it.
I was with her.
I liked her.
No,
I would go to her church in Harlem.
nah, I was with her because, like, to the point earlier, like, Jesus was someone who was a person of the heart, right?
Yeah.
And so the battle starts with the heart. The battle, like, our battle and, like, our call for people to join the church isn't to make them into, like, a project and reform their, like, duality or anything like that. Like, the charge is just to love people and to care for people.
Yes.
And, like, to use that as, like, a platform to just like fight against that community. That doesn't make sense to me from like
No.
a Jesus perspective.
So now their objection would be, okay, if you truly love them, why can't you let them be what they want to be? And how I want to hear your response on that.
If I love them, why don't I let them be what they want to be?
Correct.
Yeah.
So my thought process is that like the gospel has to be the truth. And I was talking to my wife about this too. Like, I don't necessarily have a hell to put anybody in. I'm not God. And so my charge is to designate the truth. And so if like once they like are drawn because I uplift God, and then they have that kind of heart conversion, and they're like, what is the truth? You know,
Yeah.
that would be the approach. Or go study. I can show you some verses, but I mean, saying the Bible is a thing doesn't even matter to someone that doesn't believe in the Bible. So why am I telling you a scripture? You know?
Right.
So
Yeah, and then Jesus says they will know you by how you love each other. You know, that's how the world is supposed to know us. And then, you know, what she said wasn't entirely wrong. Jesus did, bring those, the low and the marginalized in, but it was because they needed to be cleansed. You know, they needed to be changed. They needed to be given hope, that they don't have to stay where they are. You know, and then that's hopefully that should be the heart of every Christian. Like, you know, be loving, be warm, be the best representation of God that they can be to other people. So that's like on my point.
Now, I'll be honest. I'm reading a little bit past what she's saying. On paper, if she wrote that down, cool. But what it's attached to, I'm like, you don't understand the first thing about what it means to live for God for real.
Right.
Because you're attaching this to now if she's just talking about people getting outraged, I got you. But Jesus is not about to have no trans visibility awareness day or month or whatever. So it just, I mean, she didn't say that, but it's just like, we just got to be clear. Like, look, we respect y'all in the differences, but we cannot, some people, it's like the way they speak, right? Like, yes, this can be taken so many different ways, but the way people speak, sometimes they're just so, especially when you get into like Christian politics, like when you get into that, it's so, we accept, like I accept LGBT to my church, but do I accept like the lifestyle? No, I don't. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to force you to be something else, but I'm gonna be like, I have to speak against the ideology. I don't have to do it every moment of every day because I like, oh, I got to be real. But I don't know. I just, when they paint Jesus in this way that he's just super tolerant, it's like there are limits to that statement. Like, he doesn't tolerate sin. He
he gives you the
does
power
what
to
it
overcome
takes
it.
to help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to help you overcome things, but is he gonna be over there with a flag protesting, or holding up a sign, trends, visibility, awareness? Like, I don't know. I mean, I would say I don't think so at all.
No,
I
he
don't think he
wouldn't.
would.
I think if it was like if you were at the tabernacle or in your church and you had that playing, he would probably tear it down.
Yeah, cause it, like, maybe he, like, if we started a movement like, hey, yo, you know, we gotta come better at how we minister to the community. Like, I'm on that train. I got you. But what their ideology behind trans visibility awareness ain't got nothing to do with God.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like, you lost me. You feel me? So you trying to attach Jesus? Like, her tone says like, oh, Jesus is kind of for this, in a sense. The way that she's saying it, it's like she's. I can't assume, but I just know the view, they have a very different way to look at how God operates than most, like, than real Christians would. So Yeah, to say it's blasphemous, it's like not like that whole resurrection thing. Like it's not. Ain't nobody saying that trans people like we should beat them down. Like talking about blasphemous. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were confused about the day,
I
but
think she just was saying how they were. I mean, I get how they were. The not the View, but the other people. Who were they? They were just the news, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I
music.
think she just was saying how like harsh they were. And so she was basically just saying like Jesus was among, you know, how are you, the lepers and
Yeah.
the prostitutes. So how are y'all just acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like how y'all just over here so mad about it? Cause he I ain't saying he accept it, but he gonna stand there and let them come to him if they want to. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
true.
And I think that's what she's saying. Like y'all sitting there acting like that, but y'all can't be Christians. This is why they won't. That's why they won't turn, cause of how y'all acting. That's why they won't. That's why they won't listen, cause of how y'all acting and claiming to be Christians.
Right.
So I could see where she was coming from. She might have not said it right, but I think that's where she was coming from.
It's interesting because now there's two views and the view. I was like, there's two perceptions. So on one hand, you have trans people that are emotionally hurt but then their ideology they want to confuse the language, so it's scary, but they're doing it from a place of hurt and they think that's the solution. And then you got Christians on the other hand, like, look, we don't agree with that. Like, and you got some harsh Christians, but just the people that I'm just going to try to describe somebody maybe on Fox. We agree that we got to show you love. We don't agree with your ideology. We don't accept it. We're not using your terms. And you're putting that day, you're celebrating that day on Resurrection Sunday. Now, correction, it started 2009, and then later it fell on that day. So I would have done my research first, and then I wouldn't have got so upset about it. But if someone did choose to like put it on that day, I still feel like I'll just be like, I would kind of ignore it. But I feel like in the political world, they're trying to get people to agree with their side. So emotional stirrups are
Yeah,
probably what
and
they're using.
it's not necessarily just like the political era, because that's kind of like a symptom or
Hmm.
just like a fruit of it. It's like the powers at play.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of the LGBT movement is based on the power. It's like that power of promiscuity and like sexual expression that's
Hmm.
contrary to the power in the Bible. And
Yeah.
so I think that's where like the line is drawn. It's like the power behind that movement is what we're standing against.
Yeah.
It's not the people, you know.
Right.